Every positive thought is a silent prayer which will change your life. Good morning, Standard 10. This is Jatinda teacher here. This is the most crucial year of your school life. So remain positive and I'm sure it's going to change your life. We are going to study the second chapter in civics, that is the Union Executive, the President and the Vice President. The President is the head of the executive. He is also the head of the state and the first citizen of the country. Before we proceed, let us know the scope and syllabus of this chapter. We are going to study the qualification of President, composition of Electoral College, reasons of indirect elections, term of office, procedure of impeachment, powers of President, qualification for being the Vice President, elections, term of office and powers of Vice President. Now, what does the Union Executive consists of? The President, the Vice President, Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, they all fall under the Union Executive. What are the qualifications required to contest for the presidential polls? He or she should be citizen of India. He has to complete the age of 35 years, should be qualified to become a member of the Lok Sabha, should not hold an office of profit under the Government of India. Term of office. The President holds office for a term of 5 years and is eligible for re-election. Next we move on to impeachment. The President can be removed from the office for violation of the Constitution by impeachment. It may be moved in either House of Parliament. It must be passed by 2/3 of the total membership of that House. Then the charges are investigated by the other House also. If the charges are sustained by a 2/3 votes in the other House also, the impeachment succeeds. However, the President has the right to be defended by a council. Vacancy in the office of President. The presidential office may fall vacant because of the expiration of the term, by reason of death, by reason of resignation and removal by impeachment. President continues to hold office until his successor enters upon the office if there is the expiration of the term. Who conducts the election to the office of President? The Election Commission. And what is the process for election? The President is indirectly elected by Electoral College, which consists of the elected members of both Houses of Parliament and the elected members of the legislative assemblies of the state. Why are the presidential elections indirect? What are the reasons for conducting it indirectly? Before we do that, here you can see the procedure, how the votes are counted, in what manner. This is not there in your portions, but you can still have a look at the equation which is used for calculating the votes. Now, indirect election happens due to following reasons. It would have been anomalous to have the President elected directly by the people and not give him any real power. Due to vast size of electorate, it would have been a time-consuming and costly process. Here is again the answer written to the same question in a more elaborate manner. You can go through that answer again. So thereby we conclude that a direct election would place too much of power in the hands of common people. The different reasons for indirect elections, to put it in other words. First reason, if the President is elected directly, then he would become a rival center of power to the Council of Ministers. Second, two houses may be dominated by one party, and if President would have been elected by only the members of Union Parliament, then President would be the PM, who is the nominee of the ruling party. Third reason, President would be elected by Electoral College consisting members of Parliament and members of legislative assemblies of the state. This would make the elected President a true representative of the whole nation. So we have ample reasons for conducting the presidential polls indirectly. Now, after the election, the President takes an oath. What does his oath say? I do swear in the name of God that I will faithfully execute the office of President of India and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect and defend the Constitution and the law. You can see President Ramnath Kovind taking the oath. That's his swearing in ceremony by the Chief Justice of India. And we got the 14th President of India, Ram Nath Kovind. Now, what are the powers of the President? He has executive, military, legislative, financial, judicial, emergency, discretionary powers. The President of India is nominal head of executive, and all contracts and assurances of the property are made by the Government of India in President's name. The following discussion deals with important executive powers. The President forms the Council of Ministers. The Prime Minister is to be appointed by the President, and other ministers are also appointed by the President on the advice of the Prime Minister. The President has the power to appoint and remove the high dignitaries of the state, like Attorney General of India, Auditor General, judges of Supreme Court and High Court, governors, chief election commissioners, etc. They are appointed and can be removed by the President. The President represents the nation in the eyes of foreign countries, sends and receives ambassadors and other diplomatic agents from other countries. War and peace are declared in his name. He is responsible for the administration of the union territories also. You can see now the map of India, where the union territories are marked in black dots. So these are the different union territories which are administered by the President. Next we have the control over the state governments. The union government may give directions to state government. However, during President's rule, the states are completely controlled by the union government. So these were the executive powers of the President. Next we have the military powers. President is the supreme commander of the Indian Armed Forces. The President can declare war or conclude peace on the advice of the Union Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister. All important treaties and contracts are made in the President's name. Children, stay home, work online and take care of yourself. We shall study the other powers of the Presidents in our next module. Thank you so much, children.